I think a lot of the time families go through certainly the emotion of guilt when looking for care or care establishments for their family member. I think this is predominantly because they've spent so long taking such good care of their family member at home and are very concerned that a lot of care facilities may not be able to live up to their standard. And quite often guilt's certainly a big part of that, of emotions, and lots of other emotions, so the emotions of detachment and people leaving the family home, and obviously I think the emotion of losing someone as well. I think although it's not a loss within the family, I think people often think of it as a loss, and that's obviously very difficult to deal with. I think my advice would certainly be to seek advice themselves from external professionals, so GPs, district nurse teams, social services and funding bodies. Continuing healthcare is a very good support body as well. I think just to obtain as much information as possible so that they can make the right decision for their family member and their family. Well, we certainly advise here at Stockshall for taster days. We invite lots of people here for lunch, for teas, for trips out. I think that's imperative. I think it's very, very important that families make the right choice of care home for that person, that individual. And I think that needs to incorporate activities, the home environment. Is it the right environment for that person? Who the staff are as well, what interests the staff have. All these little things are really key, I think, in making sure that they're finding the right placement. But we would certainly advise for people to come certainly have a look around, come for a cup of tea and a chat, and do that several times before moving into a care home. From my experience, I actually think people with dementia cope very well, a lot more than families expect or actually realise themselves. And this is because most good care facilities have the ability to be able to look after residents and help with that transition. For example, they may have experienced carers who are allocated specifically for new arrivals. There are activities and tailor-made things going on in care homes that help people settle in. So I actually think most people do settle into care fairly well. It's families that sometimes don't always expect that and expect the worst and expect people to be very confused or very upset with not living in a family home. And a good example of that is I think we have to live where they think they are. We have to be where they think they are. Just as an example, we had a lady who lived here who thought she was in one of her villas in Spain, and we used to go with that every day. We also thought we were in a villa in Spain as well, and we have to adapt to where they think they are as well. And if they don't think they are in a care home, we have to go along with that to help them make them feel settled, essentially. I think training is essential, and I think training with regards to understanding dementia and understanding the differences between the different dementias is very important because they're also very different. And understanding the value of person-centred care as well. Everybody's different with dementia. And I think they're the fundamental issues that need to be addressed prior to a carer starting to work with people with dementia. And everyone's different, and I think that's the most important thing to understand. There is no right or wrong time, as we tell a lot of people. However, we go and assess a lot of people in their own homes, so we see it from a different angle where family members may be struggling. So I think it's important, like I said earlier, that they seek professional guidance throughout that time, throughout that dementia journey with their family member, to make sure that they're advised by people when is the right time. When it comes to financial matters in care, it's important that families are aware of the family member's financial position and how long they're able to fund care for. Lots of different care homes have different rates, and it's important that they're able to fund their stay in care for a prolonged period of time, and they're not just thinking about the here and now. And that happens quite a lot. And each care home has different facilities and therefore charges different rates. And it's important that they look at what's important in care homes. Is it the staff? Is it the facilities? Is it how it looks? Is it activities? In order to make those decisions as well. Obviously, there's lots and lots of support out there for families with regards to financial help in care. And it's important that they do their research as well with regards to what people are entitled to, when eligibility criteria kick in. So the first step is we'd advise people to go to social services. So people have to be below £23,500 threshold in order to obtain social services funded care. So to help their loved ones settle into a care home facility, It's a very difficult question to answer, and we get asked this question an awful lot. And again, there is no right or wrong answer. Some family members like to take a step back and to give people time to settle into accommodation, and some people prefer to come every day and increase the amount of visits. We would, from a professional point of view, we'd advise to balance it out and to have a happy medium with regard to that, and keep contact and keep that familiar face, and obviously people enjoy visits from family members, and to carry that forward whilst giving people time to settle down and also get to know other people and be accustomed to their surroundings. With regards to respite care and daycare, this works fantastically well in care, in my opinion. We facilitate a lot of respite and daycare for residents here, and it helps them give a taster of potentially what could be. And it also, a lot of older people certainly have this perception of care homes as these horrible dingy places where people get put in their older years. However, I think just tasting that for a couple of weeks at a time to give families a break also helps people understand that care facilities are far from that, most of them. If I was asked for advice about selecting the right care home for someone with dementia, I would advise family members to ensure that they take time in looking at several different care facilities, making sure that they look at staffing levels within the home, they look at the cleanliness, the facilities, and most importantly, how the staff interact with the residents. I would always suggest it's a good idea to come at meal times if the care home allows that to happen. It's a very good way of looking at how staff interact at meal times, how they're assisting residents with meals if they need to. Also, ask about what meaningful activities are on each day, and ask about why they've decided to structure those activities as part of the care home and as part of the care as to what that home does. And also look at the environment and look at the colours on the walls, how it's decorated. Has time been put into that to really think about people with dementia? There's a great phrase in care which we tell and we try and teach our staff every day. In fact, it's up on posters all around our care home, and that is, they don't live in our work, we work in their home.